Stop, this is Jeff. Let's play Monster Hunter. Now that we're fully in high rank mode, we need new armor, so let's go find some new things. First thing I wanted to actually construct is a good gathering set. So, currently still using our low rank artillery armor, which gives us a bunch of bonuses for our charge blade. But I want to make some puke, like pants, belt, that kind of thing. We might later replace some of it with the Rathian set. So this will just be a bunch of quick cuts of various hunts with random people just doing SOSs, choosing the monsters I want. In this case, puke. I'll be making some puke weapons as well, so I need sort of a double reason why I would need things from it. And just some nice pleasant charge blade gameplay, getting some supers and some ultras, doing some fun chrome razor, I think is what I'm using. It's just the basic line at the very top of the tree using ore. Super elemental amp discharge. Oh, the opposite. Super amped elemental discharge. We have a hunting horn user in the group. That is the bagpipe sound in the back and why it says I'm receiving melody effects. Hunting horn is used to give buffs to the whole team. It's also a great hammer, which, like the regular hammer, specializes in blunt damage. There's the Devil Joe. Another new thing for high rank, now that we're finally in it, is invader monsters. So there's actually two different invader monsters, which we'll see well, an example of both of them here. The first one here is the Devil Joe, the World Eater, the Pickle. We're not going to be fighting a Devil Joe now. We'll get around to a Devil Joe later. So what I was focusing on there was using poop. Very useful. You can make dung pods, and if you shoot dung pods onto monsters, they will become stinky and self-conscious, and they will run away. Which is a good way to get invaders out of the area that you are currently fighting in. It can also be used in the opposite way to get the monster that you're currently fighting to change its location. This poor Puge did not make it. Let's get some extra Jagger stuff. Going out on an expedition just to pick up some extra materials. There you see in the corner there, it's updating us on what we need for the things we've put on our wish list. And the great feature of Monster Hunter World is sorely missed when going back and playing other Monster Hunter games. The Buon Fiore is this is sort of the end of the line version of the poison, the feathery puke poison hammer. It will become even more flowery when we get to it. Still need a few more spots of items. There we go. I think we can finally make it. There we go. It's the Buon Fiore. It's just a giant, spiky, poisonous lotus flower cabbage thing. There it is in action, beating up the thing that made it. We've got most of the stuff now that we need to sort of perfect our set. Another benefit of high rank armor sets is that they have the coloration option. You can change the armor pigments. You can do that from your house through your sort of little cat, but you can also do it through the armory. This is actually our main goal of the beginning of high rank, is the special investigation, which is its own weird system. You can see in the middle there, the little red bar, investigation progress for Rathian. When we're going out and doing all of these quests, various investigations and side quests, we're actually getting points towards that Rathian. The Basil Juice. This is the second invader monster. Technically it's the first one. The Devil Joe was added after the Basil Juice, but we will also be ignoring the Basil Juice for now. We will hunt it later because we do want to make some of its armor, or at least we want some of its talons in order to make some good things out of it. So as we complete quests, we get more research progress as we find tracks of the mysterious Rathian, which maybe is ruined, the surprise because of the title of the episode, is the Pink Rathian, which we will get to at the end. I decided irresponsibly to try and fight a basil juice. I was very angry. I tried with a hammer. I did a little bit of lance, and I decided, okay, this is about, 15, 20 minutes into it, dying repeatedly, changing up my strategy. I think I've got it on the ropes now. And it leaves. It's left. It's gone. Basil juice has left the location. It's very sad. But hey,
well, that troublemaker is going to make even more trouble if we don't get out there and investigate.
Yes, thank you, Handler. That means that we've got enough points towards the first of 2 assigned missions that will unlock from the Rathian investigation. First one is going to be Tickled Pink, the mission where we will fight a high-rank Anjanath. The second one is, of course, going to be the Pink Rathian itself. We'll get revenge on Basil Juice later, but we do need a few more things in order to improve our Insect Glaive, which is the weapon I want to use for the Anjanath. We can make our Kinsect better. We can go to the Pseudocath path. The Pseudocath is much more useful because it has super high speed, and it also has blast powder rather than healing powder. So just explosions will happen. We'll see that later. And also because we've unlocked the quest for the Anjanath, and well, actually, technically this has been available since we repelled Zor Magdaros, but it's the final upgrade to our living quarters, the private suite, which has little kitties in the corner playing the harp. There's a beautiful hearth, private garden. It's very ostentatious, and tons of places to put pets. This is the real joy of the private quarters. You can put pets like absolutely everywhere. It's like make it a little tiny zoo. Unlike the aquarium from the second level of sort of quarters that we get, we have an actual sort of like pond. Preparing for the Anjanath, I decided that it was time for a new hairstyle, a new look. We have new armor, we've got new weapons. Let's have a nice new hairstyle. What I'm going to refer to as the Tasha Yar. We also have some sick sunglasses, which were going to give us stun resistance. A lot of this is happening off screen, but just enjoy the little pool there. The sunglasses we actually got from a special event, which we'll see more of later, but it's basically made from killing a bunch of Tsitsiyakus, which are the ones that, of course, use their flash ability to stun frequently. So you can make these sort of sunglasses which are fashionable, which is very important. And in addition to that, they also give you stun resistance, and just from doing a bunch of high-rank missions and investigations while trying to investigate the Pink Rathian, I've actually got a number of armor decorations, which is another new system for... Oh, I've been grabbed. This is bad. If you have flash pods and you're grabbed, you can still shoot them. It will blind the monster and you'll be able to get out of the grab animation. You can use various items to do that, including like Bright Moss, if you hit them in the eye, will have the same effect as a flash pod, and also you can use the instant stunning abilities of like a Shadow Crystal, which is not in this particular map, but also it's Scatternut, that's the other one. Scatternuts are really great. They always cause staggers. You could use Red Pit, but it's not a guaranteed to stun them out of it. I'll just keep stabbing this Anjanath while I consider decorations on armor. So another new system that is available for high rank is decorations. We were gifted an attack decoration, which gives us the attack skill, 1 level of the attack skill. The attack skill actually has 7 levels. My kitty still has a sleep item, so we've added mega barrel bombs to our loadout specifically because we have a sleep cat and we can get a whole bunch of extra damage from just exploding monsters since the first damage they take. That is not the right button. I am very sad that happened. That's the button I want. So in my defense, when you use the Insect Glaive and you have it unsheathed, if you do L2, R2, you can point in a direction and shoot out a tiny little bullet that will mark a position for your Kinsect to attack. If you're sheathed, you'll use your slinger, and I happen to have the flash pod, which of course ruined the entire sleep bombing, because the whole point of sleep bombing is that when a monster is asleep, the first thing that hits them, the wake up, will do double damage. So you want it to be a super hard-hitting attack, like a bomb. If you don't have like a greatsword user on your team. If you're a greatsword, you want to use the true charge slash, or if you're using charge blade, hip check. If you're using a charge blade, you want to use the ultra. I'm in a bad position here. Don't worry, I'll get into the rhythm of the Anjanath. Don't you worry. But back to armor decorations. We get the attack decoration automatically. It's actually one of the absolute rarest ones in the game. Extremely low drop rate. But when you're doing high rank investigations and quests, you have the chance to get jewels at the end, which will turn into various armor skills. And the high rank armors that you make will have slots, also the weapons. And you can just slot jewels into your armored weapons in order to get extra armor abilities. I have actually a lot of good ones. I got pretty lucky in getting a lot of good sort of utility ones that I really wanted, so I can have full stun resistance, and I have full health boost, which are both extremely useful. So it means that I just automatically have 50% more max HP when I go into a hunt. Well, 50 more points, 100 base plus 50 for the health boost. And also stun resistance means that I cannot be stunned by any attack, including like getting hit repeatedly by a Diablos. I would like to say that I finally got into the rhythm of the Insect Glaive and the Anjanath here, and I'm very proud of the Insect Glaive dancing back and forth around this particular monster. The Insect Glaive is a lot of flourishes, and you use like the circle or the B button in order to do sort of flip attacks. If you do it with a directional input, like forward in B, you can do a flip forward, back in B, you'll do a flip backwards. So there's actually kind of like, it's a very forward and back weapon. So you want to make sure that you're on a line, sort of a line of best fit when fighting a monster. In this case, the best fit for an Anjanath is underneath and perpendicular, so that you can regularly bounce forward and back between the left and right legs, depending on which one is stomping or clawing at you. Of course, the weakest point is going to be its head. Alright, I fell asleep again. Well, that's nice. I do not have any more sleep bombs, but I can use this opportunity to buff. Sharpen our weapon, get a Might Seed, get Demon Powder. Those are temporary attack buffs, but they do stack on top of each other. Adamant Seed is a temporary buff to defense. Health Booster will just smoke out health, so as long as I'm standing in the area, I will keep getting health out of that. That is on a cooldown, so after like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, something, I don't know the exact number, I'll be able to use another health smoker, health booster. I have the Scatter Nuts specifically to keep this Anja locked down when it's trying to run away, so I can get some extra damage on it. It ends up not really mattering, because we're gonna go fight in the on top of the sort of Diablos nest anyways. Making sure that the hip check, trying to get my Kinsect extracts up. I've got my triple buff on the red, white, and orange, which, as you'll recall, each color has a specific bonus. The red one being damage, and also changes the combos so that there's extra flourishes. White being speed bonus, and orange being defense. But then there's the triple bonus. They all just kind of synergize together and work just better. The aerial attacks for the Insect Glaive, if you're interested in... Oh, yeah, I got that tail cut. Very happy about that. If you're interested in like optimal DPS for the Insect Glaive, the standing forward A combo finisher is the highest damage attack, highest motion value for the Insect Glaive. And the ground combos in general have higher damage than the aerial combos, but the aerial combos are pretty fun, so you can dodge all around. It's also very easy to dodge out of the way of something, or over a monster even. And of course, aerial attacks will do mounting damage, which you can use to mount the monster. that particular attack. The slow, huge 360 forward lunge is the one that has the highest damage. Also, if you're doing aerial attacks and you use a B button or a B button attack, you will launch into the air and you'll get your air dashes back sort of reloaded. I think you can only do that 4, maybe 6 times before it's actually just a hard limit. It's weak, which means we can probably just throw a trap down. I can't do a shock trap right now because I think I actually have too many items, which I did not realize at the time, but that's okay. We need to get the, we're just gonna go pick up the tail anyways. Might as well. It's right here. Anjanath tail. It just ran back, but it's not gonna make it. It's not gonna make it. It's weak, and we have traps. So let's capture it, add it to our little collection in Astera. It's a underground there. More investigation progress. Technically, we had filled the investigation bar all the way, but you have to complete the Tickled in Pink quest before you can get the Old Monster in the New World quest, which is going to be the actual attack on the Pink Rathian, which we'll do next. This is the Elder Melder, which I haven't really mentioned too much. It's another side system that is accessible in high rank. You can use it to turn items and research points into other items, so you can sort of transmute. Basically, you just throw a bunch of stuff in a pot and you get a random item out of it, and then later you can get random decorations. And there's a whole system where you can try and snipe them by loading and saving, and that it's unnecessary. I'd say that for the most part, the Elder Melder is just not used, except in the case of weekly bounties, which we haven't actually got to yet. Since we did pick up a piece of a basil juice, though, we can see the basil juice armor, at least for the kitty. We'll be able to preview the basil juice armor for our main hunter later. The basil juice armor actually looks pretty neat, and it has earplugs, which is a skill that I do not have that I very much would like to have, which prevents being stunned by monster roars.
Sign up for the quest, partner. It's time to hunt the monster that left that trail.
The commander has officially given us the sort of the go-ahead to go find the Pink Rathian. So let's go and do that next. We used an insect glaive for the last assault on the Anjanath. So we can switch over to a new weapon type. I'm going to use dual blades. And I am going to absolutely destroy this Pink Rathian. I'm very happy with how this turned out. Spoilers.
A Rathian? No, wait!
We're right in it. One of these days I'm going to do a dodge that roar and actually get it on sort of video. It's possible. The timing is very tight though. So as the handlers explained, the Pink Rathian is a subspecies of the Rathian. One of the infinite number of Rathalos type monsters that is in Monster Hunter. It fights mostly the same as a Rathian, with a few new tricks. It has this, the running sort of spiral bite, which it loves to do. It still does the annoying Rathian thing of occasionally it will just love running straight forward and then back and then forward and then back, where its entire body is basically a hitbox waiting to trip you. It has the Rathian's sort of spiral poisoning tail flip, like you saw there. But the Pink Rathian also has a new version of it, which is a corkscrew tail flip. It's already been put to sleep by our cat, so let's go blow up its face with slightly more success this time. Whoop. All right, at least we got both of the both of the explosions on it. When you're using dual blades and you go up a wall, you can trace down the back of a monster if you connect well in demon mode. It's always fun to do. Did that a few times. It's even better on longer monsters, especially if you can get the arrangement just right into a jumping attack, demon mode, jumping attack. It didn't work there, although I was planning on it. Legiana's nest is here, so Legiana has joined the fray. It's still high rank, and we're not at the end of high rank, so this is still potentially dangerous. So I'm going to play a little bit more defensive. What I want to do is separate them, so I'm going to use dung bombs and just kind of work my way from the outside in and kind of use these Vigor Wasp, not traps, but items that my cat has been leaving everywhere. My cat really wants to bring that wasp to me. It's alright, little Esleon. We'll get back to you. I'm just gonna let them handle that in the background. Hey, it's coming to me, why not? Some of the things that the Pink Rathian can do is... Well, I guess its main gimmick is that it's the hardness of its scales. So you'll need, like, white sharpness to even penetrate the back, the wing, and the tail. The only parts that you can get to with green and blue sharpness are the head, the feet, and the tip of the tail. So it really does encourage you to be precise with your attacks in a way that the other Rathalos types, like the Rathian, don't, or haven't yet. And we have dual blades, which go through sharpness very fast if you're wailing on a part that's harder than they can penetrate. If we use the Demon Dance, which I was about to get into, the Demon Dance is the special when you press R2 to go into Demon mode and you do a YB combo or triangle circle combo. It's where you just plant it in place and you just kind of swing your arms around in a whirlwind fashion. That can't bounce. That is to say, it won't bounce off of a... I saw those little sparklies. Let's go get them. I gotta get those sparklies. Which is to say that it won't bounce off the monster like regular attacks will do if you hit a portion that's too hard for the current sharpness of your weapon. But each time you hit something that is beyond the sharpness value for your weapon, the sharpness loss, so the sharpness gauge, will go down twice as fast. So as much as possible, make sure the Legiana wasn't following. We want to hit the soft parts, the soft weak parts, which is going to be knees, ankles, so that we can trip. After we trip, we went, that's not the right spot. We want poor sharpness bar, oh man. There's the spot, the very tip, that's what we want. Attack the tip of the tail, because we want to chop off the tail. We want to do the head, we'll take stun damage and knock it out. This weapon is not really made for stun damage, but the repeated hits will be great for tripping. So, like most monsters, this is a spiral blade, okay, it's fine. Like the other Rathalos types, roars are commonly followed by, yes, a fireball attack if it's a Rathalos, or a spiral poisoning tail flip if it's the Rathian types. In this case, it's using the corkscrew attack that's unique to the Pink Rathian subspecies. But since we have a hard-hitting, or not hard-hitting, but a very quickly hitting weapon, the dual blades, we want to... Oh, I love that dodge. That's so... I'm very happy with that dodge. When those iframes hit just right, it's so good. We're gonna get this tail, believe you me. I'm very happy with this fight with this Rathian. It was an embarrassing one-sided beatdown for the most part, which I think more than makes up for the sadness of the beginning of the engine fight. Do a quick hop up onto the little bug so that we can get a mounting attack to keep it from leaving. We'll do a Demon Flurry on its face as soon as it decides to stop running around, which will be another knockdown, which means we can get more free hits on either the tail or the face, depending on where we want to go. But yes, depending on what weapon type you have, you want to focus on different parts of the monster. Slashing weapons are great for tails because they can cut them. Bludgeoning weapons like hammers, great for the face because it will cause knockouts. Ah, there we got that tail cut. And then if you're somewhere between, like fast-hitting weapons, fast-hitting weapons are great for elemental damage and status damage, but also in this case is great for tripping. So if you can't find any other weak point on a monster using your current weapon, attacking the legs, especially if it's bipedal, which, you know, these monsters are, That poor Tsitsi knocking the Rathian out of the sky. We've got our cool sunglasses on, so this doesn't matter for us. Aw, tripped again. To get those chain trips is so good. This is not the best positioning for the... This will be a little bit better. There we go. We can actually get head and neck damage here. Of course, the problem with having chop off the tail is that I don't quite have as wide a weak spot that I can use on the back. So we'll have to focus more on the front or possibly the wingtips. No, change direction. Okay. That was the awkward bouncing animation when you hit something that's beyond your sharpness gauge. Of course, I'm also in blue sharpness. I'm sorry, green sharpness. This weapon can be in blue sharpness, which would have negated that particular mistake, but that's okay. I really need to, such a good touch. I really do need to get my weapon sharpened. Fortunately, the big Rathian will be leaving shortly, and I can still get good combos on using Demon Dance on the head, like so. Suspicious hitbox, but okay. We're just slightly touched by the end there, the end of the foot. I have on my quick bar the recipe for making flash pods, which is just using combining flash bugs. So that's why in my loadout I always take in 10 flash bugs as well as the 3 flash pods, and I put them on sort of like 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock on my top radial shortcut, so that I can quickly make new ones and then equip them into my slinger almost immediately. So I have at any time 13 flash pods available, which is great for the majority of the monsters, which are flying wyvern types. Even the ones that you wouldn't think would be flying wyverns still fly around sometimes, so it's good to knock them out of the air. And this is especially great place to fight the Rathian, because you can just dunk it into these, like, I don't even know what these things are, like lily pad trampoline things. One day I'm gonna get that dodge right on that roar. It's actually unusual that it didn't do a corkscrew jump after the roar, but here we are. There's the corkscrew. It's back at the trampoline again. Let's do some more demon dances. Oh, wrong direction. The dual blades are very heavy on the stamina usage, so it's important to keep in mind where your stamina bar is at, lest you run it dry before you would like it to be. This poor Rathian is just not having a good day. You can actually break the tips of the wings on the Rathalos types. That is not really ideal for this weapon type, so I'm more than happy with just cut tail, trip, and then constant head wounds. It'll try and fly away, but that is not a problem because we have flash pods. As long as its eyes can see the flash pod, it will be stunned out of the air. So there is a directional component to it. There isn't actually that many subspecies in this game. There is another one, which is another Rathalos type, which goes into my thinking that there's too many Rathalos in Monster Hunter in general. There's at least not like 8 subspecies or whatever there was in Generations Ultimate, but I still think that there's plenty of flying wyverns. We could use some more fanged wyverns, some more brutes, some more piscines, a type of monster, or the types of monsters that haven't made it into Monster Hunter World yet, such as the Leviathans or the, well, I mean, they're technically also flying wyverns, but the Nargacuga Tigrex types, which has actually been announced for the Iceborne expansion, which was recently revealed as of this recording. So very excited for that.
Never thought we'd find her in the Coral Highlands.
It takes a small combination of miracles for a subspecies to emerge. At least that's what the scholars said.
All the same, she's in remarkable condition. She must have grown somewhere rich in nutrients.
I might know where that is.
Hey, the worst characters here.
At last, he returns.
I've been enjoying watching your exploits. Fine work, I must say. Well done.
Would it have killed you to help instead of just watching?
What for? You seem to have it covered. Here, I brought you some souvenirs.
Interesting. Where'd you get them?
You know where you drove off, Big Ugly? Well, there's a spot further in there. And it's just loaded with these things.
They're incredible. It's like there's this energy pulsing inside them.
Wasn't just me then. Ha! I'll wager they tie into this whole thing we've been studying somehow. Well, I intend to find out how. Raise your hand or paw if you're with me. Any of these jaggy brains up for a challenge?
These two.
Wait, what?
Okay, you two. See you on site. I'll be at the tunnel. And don't you keep me waiting. I hate waiting!
Have fun.
Don't die out there.
You may have noticed that the handler is wearing a festive wintry outfit. That's because the Winter Festival is actually going on during the recording session for this. We'll get to the Winter Festival later. We did fight some new monsters, well, old monsters, but they're high-rank versions, so we now have the alpha and beta versions of them. The pink Rathian gives us the Wrath Heart alpha and beta, which is just another fancy sort of variation of the Rathian armor. It's pink, as you might imagine from the name. And it has different skill sets, although we don't need most of them. Tool Specialist is pretty good. Orion's set is based off it's the special armor for the winter. Death Stench is unlocked by getting Sinister Cloths, which is an item that is specifically found by going through the Tail Rider Safari. It's a random drop. It's a cool sort of classic Monster Hunter set. It's been around forever. The sort of Monster Hunter World version of it looks the same, but it's just, higher polygon count, and it just looks really cool. I'm not crazy about the navel window that is on the female version of the armor, but the male version of the armor is pretty much just straight up just Grim Reaper. You can also get a death set for your Palico, although we didn't see it in this particular episode. You can make him a tiny little Grim Reaper. It's adorable. The Admiral is the worst character because it represents a character type that I hate, which is the absent leader, which is seen as a positive trait. But a leader that is not present and not leading is not a leader. He is just a scout, overqualified scout. That's all I'll say of that for now. Also, the slapping people on the back and going "ha-ha" is pretty much the rest of his characterization. That and being like 8 feet tall or whatever. Anyways, we will have to deal with the Admiral in a few more cutscenes because he'll be one of the principal characters we interact with for the second half of the high rank experience. Now that we can finally get into the Elder's Recess, which is just near where Zor Magdaros was repelled to sea, and also where the Admiral is finding all of those sparkling crystals, sort of full of bioenergy. So the main plot is actually advancing, and the Elder's Recess is an awesome location. But we won't actually see that next time. We actually might see a little bit of it next time. Depends on which videos I edit together. But we'll definitely get some of the special events in the Winter Festival for the holiday seasons. So we'll see those, including a little bit more of like the special Palico outfits too. So if you enjoyed watching this episode of The Jeff and David Show, and you'd like to support us, you can do so Patreon, and you can do the YouTube things. You do YouTube things, like commenting and subscribing. Monster Hunter World.